Alright, here we are with our new seed. Sorry about the lag. It does get better, I promise. Anyways, so we had this village and I had this really cool ravine next to it that I was terrified of falling into, which was kind of cool. It's also got this really big pit that was nearby, but the biggest issue I ran into was the fact that the villagers were constantly getting stuck on ledges and stuff. And so my main job for this was just to protect the villagers because I gave up on mining for diamonds and getting all that stuff. I did find a geode, which was kind of cool. I think that they're kind of pretty and you can make a spyglass. I don't use the, I don't know what it's called, but the zoom like plugin or whatever that I see other Minecrafters use. I just don't know how to use it, so I don't. Anyways, as you can see, my house led straight out to it. Anyways, so I went mining quite a bit, and by the geode there was this kind of ravine-ish area which had the creeper that I thankfully survived. But it also sort of led down to an ancient city, as you can see with the soul fire, which was kind of cool. I didn't go down because I had other priorities, but yeah, like rescuing the never-ending set of villagers. And here are two. So these two, I was never able to get them out of their situation. I tried my absolute hardest. I was tossing gravel. I was building lots. I kind of just landed on the situation of, like, depending on however long I survived, or maybe even beat this one, I would eventually just build them a house down there because they were driving me nuts. Because because they were down here, it was throwing off my like village count, so I was kind of hard to get villagers that had the items that I needed. But oh well. See, they would get up on here and then they would just run off. Anyways, so while we watch me struggle with that, be sure to leave a like if you like the video and subscribe. And if you have any tips or tricks, please leave them down below because I would kind of like to try and beat this game. I know it doesn't seem like it, but I would really like to actually win this game. As you can see, I have full diamond armor here. That's all through trading of villagers. And I found this lava pit nearby the village, which worked out really well because then I can just make obsidian without any big issues. And this is generally how I try to do it because I don't like pouring it into the lava, because I like using lava for smelting most of the time, just because I like using coal for making torches for villages and caves and stuff. So I tend to use lava for smelting, even though I know I could take water and just pour it over and get all the obsidian that I wanted. I decided that I would just go with it this way, which is normally how you do it. If I had found a dripstone cave, I'd try at making one of those infinite lava sources, but the last time I did that, my house burned down, so I'm always quite hesitant to make them. It didn't make it into a video, but it burned to the ground while I was in it. Anyways, so after getting all of the obsidian I needed, I headed into the nether. I used gold shoes. I tend to wear gold shoes as opposed to hats. Although in the past that didn't really work because once I was wearing gold shoes instead of feather falling shoes and I fell and died. Again, another one where it just didn't make the cut. Every so often, for every video that I post for you guys to watch, there are probably at least 6 goes in between where I just don't make it far enough to make it even into a video, and so I just kind of give up. Anyways, after a very long journey, I decided to make my way over to the Nether Fortress. Thankfully, it wasn't too far. I also picked up a brown mushroom so that I could potentially cure a villager. I've only done it a handful of times. don't know if any of them made it into the village, but I have done it once or twice. I just am overly cautious when it comes to dealing with the zombies. Even though I've only died to zombies a handful of times, my biggest enemy has always been skeletons. Anyways, you can see me wandering around and then suddenly remember the fact that there are wither skeletons here that could pop up and kill me at any moment. Anyways, I made it down the end of that hallway where the blaze spawner was and started taking out blazes, which are probably some of my favorite mobs to fight. Don't ask me why. They're just some of my favorite ones to fight. My biggest issue that I ran into was the fact that I didn't bring nearly enough food in order to fight them. So that was a bit of an oversight on my part. I did swap out my shoes for my fancy diamond shoes as opposed to my gold shoes, which I often forget to do whenever I fight blazes. Normally when I fight blazes, I prefer the spawner to be in a more enclosed space because I just find it easier to funnel them down. But beggars can't be choosers. Anyways, so once I realized I didn't have enough food, I decided to head home, and then when I was melting, this dude pops in because it was the middle of the day, I didn't expect it, and the skeleton came out of nowhere, and he was fully decked out in all his gold armor, and I was convinced I was gonna die, so I quickly shut the door. Anyways, you can see me sort of building up these walls because I realized that skeletons can come in through the side, but they are only 3 tall, or they're too tall to fit under the 2 blocks, so I can just put these things up and take them out and then head over and start going after the blazes again. I've only, in the many goes that I've had, died to not blazes. I'm gonna jinx myself, but I've never died to a blaze. But I've only died to like a wither a handful of times. Anyways, after getting enough blazes and trading for emeralds or ender eyes, I finally got enough for no, not these are I don't know what these are. These are the eyeballs. We headed out in our journey to search for the the stronghold. But then I quickly realized that I probably should have a little bit more food before heading out. Anyways, I eventually found it. This took me so long because I was digging down and I could hear silverfish, as you can see in the text, that I found silverfish. But the issue is that I couldn't figure out where it was. And then I realized that there was this kind of cave in between it. So that's the stronghold down there. And my issue was the fact that I was too high. I was high enough to hear silverfish, but too low, or low enough to hear silverfish, but too high to actually hit the stronghold. And then I popped in, and there it was, the actual area. And there's the silverfish spawner. And so I quickly broke it before it could spawn any silverfish. We learned from last time. I looked it up afterwards and didn't realize that silverfish are some of the mobs that can like call in reinforcements or whatever. So I put in the ender eyes so I could make it to the final boss, I think is what it's called. I don't know. I marked the coordinates down so I could figure out where it was. Closed it off because the last thing I wanted was for like a zombie or a creeper to drop in behind me. I thought about putting a bed, but then I remembered that I'm in hardcore mode and that doesn't really matter. It's just me, and at any moment we're gonna do it. So, taking a deep breath, closing my eyes, I decided, okay, we're gonna go in. We have made it to, oh, it's called the end. We've made it to the end with the Ender Dragon, and I've watched a couple videos of people doing this. I've never seen anybody spawn, like platform spawn right next to the island. I've always seen people have to like bridge over, which is why I was a little confused when I was heading in. I was like, what on earth? And then I saw it, and I instantly realized that I forgot to get a pumpkin, so the Enderman can see me. I do have a couple of boats, as you can see in my inventory. I did think about that, where I was like, oh, okay, I need boats so that I can place down Endermans or whatever. This is also me trying to like shoot a bow and arrow for the first time, and then I realized that, oh, that's right, I probably should, you know, serpentine, dodge and weave as I go. But yeah, so I was sweating buckets as I was trying to do this because I knew I was supposed to shoot it because I've seen people shoot the like glowy stuff. Anyways, and then I realized, oh, that's right, I should get moving. And I brought a couple or enough water buckets to I didn't realize that you couldn't just I always view this as like dirt, but apparently it's not. I brought 2 water buckets so that I could have an infinite water source out here, because I know that drop Endermen don't like water, and there's the chance that I will have to perform my very first, not my very first, but dire needing last minute like water bucket challenge type situation. So I kind of went around and started shooting at a bunch of the end crystals. I think that's what they're called. We'll go with it. End crystals. Anyways, and so whoop, then the dragon hit me, and all of these Endermen were running around, and it was making me really nervous. I was like, at any moment they're gonna, and then look, they're like bobbing and weaving around me, and I'm just like, don't look at them, please. I was like, I don't understand, but they're just, they were going crazy. Look at them. They're like running around. I don't understand what they're doing. And then I hit the crystals that are surrounded by cages. I don't know how to destroy them. And that's what I realized. I was like, I should have been watching tutorials on how to defeat it. But to be honest, I never realized I was going to do it. And then this Enderman, I noticed that he was focusing on me. So I placed the boat, and it didn't work. And then I went to go dump water, and I was like, wait, is he after me? I'm not quite sure. And so I kept running away, and I was like, well, maybe he's not. And then I died.